Hallelujah, somebody. That's what I would say if I was in church. Y'all know I say hello, somebody. I would say hallelujah, somebody. Senator Joe Manchin was at it again. He is at it again. The man never stops. So caping for his owner donors. Let's take a look at the wonderful reporting from TYT's very own Jonathan Larson in the TYT Progress Report. And this is how Jonathan lays it out. When congressional leaders yesterday introduced the annual National Defense Authorization Act, it had weapons, it had salary and benefits for personnel. It had billions of dollars more than even President Joe Biden asked for, but it didn't have Senator Manchin's pet project. Oh my God. And so let me remind you, the budget pending for the Pentagon is $847 billion. Yes, billion with a B, underline it, underscore, bolded, exclamation point, message in a bottle. It is about $40 billion more dollars than what this president even asked for. So we know that in the United States Congress, they will come together in a bipartisan fashion for war making. Yeah, that is what they will do. And even though our military budget is higher than the next 9 countries combined, this does not stop these folks from pouring all the money, all the effort they can into war making. Makes no sense. Let's go back to what Jonathan had to say. Manchin had publicly said he would use the NDAA to pass his controversial bill, giving energy companies more power to start new projects over community opposition. But despite Biden's backing, okay, I got the pause right here. Let me read that for you one more good time. But despite Biden's backing, so this ain't just Manchin. This ain't just Shadow President Joe Manchin. This is President Joe Biden too. So when you guys start, jumping all over Manchin, which you should, hey, make sure you throw some of that at the president as well. So despite Biden's backing, yesterday's bill's language was released with no Manchin in sight. As TYT Washington correspondent Candace Cole reported last night. Yeah, did report that. And let's take a look at this tweet from the shadow president, shall we? The Senate must vote to amend the NDAA to ensure the comprehensive bipartisan permitting reform our country desperately needs is included. My full statement. So he tweets his statement. Okay, we already know what he had to say. Do this. And we also know the environmental groups were very much against this. Let's go on. Jonathan says, or writes, Republicans opposed it because it didn't go far enough to give energy companies the power to silence and stifle community opposition. These projects are cited disproportionately in Black, brown, and indigenous and low-income neighborhoods. Imagine that, not giving a damn about how you poison and pollute people in Black, brown, indigenous, and low-income neighborhoods. Because guess what? They don't deserve to live a good life. They don't deserve it. They're not worthy. But as Candace has been reporting, that's our Candace, a progressive rebellion with some threatening to vote against the so-called must-pass NDA meant Manchin simply lacked the votes. It is about time, because this man has been getting his way the entire time. Just thwarting the entire agenda. And I question whether he was really standing in the way of the agenda or he was a convenient excuse, but I'll save that for another time. Jonathan goes on, as Candace reported last month, Rep. Grijalva, the House Natural Resources Committee chair, re-upped his opposition to Manchin's bill, backed by 76 other House Democrats. One of them, Representative Ro Khanna, also vowed to counter Manchin's NDAA maneuver by tacking a $15 an hour minimum wage bill onto the NDAA, as Candace first reported. You better go head on, Congressman. Thanks to progressives for standing up. Representative Grijalva and Representative Ro Khanna, I just like saying his name like that. Thank you all for standing up, and thank you, Representative Ro Khanna, for putting that $15 an hour minimum wage in there. They want to play these games, we're gonna play with them. Y'all want to play? We're gonna play too. And again, it is really such a shame, but here we go. So Ben Cohen, one of the co-founders of Ben and Jerry, sums this up quite nicely. Our country, the last remaining superpower on earth, needs to learn to measure its strength, not in terms of how many people we can kill, but in terms of how many people we can feed, clothe, house, and care for. Exclamation point, baby, dropping the mic. Jackson.
Well, I just think it's hilarious that Joe Manchin is a Democrat at all, given the fact that, well, everything about him, but especially given the fact that he receives more money from the fossil fuel industry than not just any other Democrat, but any body in Congress or the Senate, period. Like it's amazing. But at the end of the day, public pressure works. This happened because people put their foot down and said that this isn't what they wanted. And we got to get gangster with these people. We have to extort them out of the power of which we gave to them, so we got to do it.
You better say that, Jackson. We got to get gangster with these.
I mean, we do. That they're there because we put them there. So let's remove them and put someone else there until they're there. So.
That's right. Remind them who the power really belongs to. We got to get gangster with these folks. Well, I wouldn't doubt that Senator Joe Manchin will try again at another time. We will keep you posted if he does do that, because after all, he is the shadow president